for so many people throughout the pandemic, they've either lost their jobs or they've realized their job is not bringing them passion and they want to make a career change. But it's not always so easy, especially in today's day and age. To talk a little bit more, let's bring in Hannah Berger. She's the career counselor at JBS Human Services. Hannah, thank you for being with us.
Of course, I'm actually an employment specialist, and I have several colleagues who do career counseling that I can happily connect you with as well.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about the event you all have coming up.
Yeah, so tonight at 5:30, we're presenting Clothing Confidence, how to prepare and dress for a job interview. It's a free webinar that we're doing on Zoom and Facebook Live alongside Council Resale and the National Council of Jewish Women. We're going to be presenting how you can best put your best foot forward for a job interview. Lots of advice and tips on how to prepare, how to research a company, how to be prepared to answer typical interview questions, and also how to dress for it, which Sandy will talk about later.
So one of the things that makes this time so challenging, a lot of these interviews are via Zoom or over the internet now.
Mhm.
Does that pose different challenges for the interviewee?
I think in some ways it definitely does make it a little bit more challenging. And for example, it's harder to get a sense of someone's personality over Zoom and their general feel and how they might fit into an office space. But on the other hand, it does present some opportunities. You're not going to be stressed about making sure you get to the building on time. You're not going to be overwhelmed by meeting a bunch of people at once. You'll be in the comfort of your own home. And also, if you're someone who gets nervous or flustered, you can have a little set of notes nearby as well if you want to reference them every once in a while. So that there is a benefit as well to a virtual interview.
So what about trying to make eye contact through a screen?
That's tricky. And my tip for that is while it does seem a bit counterintuitive, you actually don't, when you want to make eye contact, you don't want to be looking at the person on the screen across from you's eyes. You actually want to be making eye contact with your camera because it does a little bit more of a visual trick that it makes it seem like you're actually looking at someone's eyes.
These are tricky times, but but that's why you're having the webinar too. It's really to talk about this because you don't want to practice live during an interview. You want to be prepared for that interview, and so there are some tricks to doing in how you're preparing for today's interview.
Certainly. One tip that I give to everyone, virtual interview or not, is to research the company and also research the person that you're interviewing with. And you want to make sure you're prepared with a list of questions to ask at the end. When someone who's interviewing you asks, "What questions do you have for me?" You never want to say, "Oh no, I don't have any." You want to be prepared and show that you've done your research. You also want to reference something that you've talked about in the interview or conversation and ask a question about that, and then ask a question about the person's work background or how they've made it into the company. So that's my little rule of three right there.
Those are good rules to go by. Should a person take notes?
I think it's never a bad idea to take notes. It shows that you really care about what the other person has to say. However, don't take so many notes that you're not able to engage back with the person you're speaking with. But having a notebook is a good idea.
One of the good things about virtual, it kind of takes the pressure off of the handshake. Should you grip it hard, not too hard, not too soft? So at least that's gone away.
Definitely. I honestly don't know if the handshake is going to make a return post-COVID. It's kind of an interesting practice. I wonder what will replace it.
Yeah, that is true because it's a little weird to do an elbow bump with someone that you're just meeting for the first time. So yeah, that's really going to be fascinating. One of the great things about the webinar, though, is you all are taking it a step further as well and helping the person dress for the interview and what should they be wearing. So for that side of the conversation, let's bring in Sandi Matz. She's a long-term volunteer for the council resale shop. I love when you were on previously, you did a little fashion show for us.
Yep. And I have a fashion show for you again today, because it is so important to dress for the interview, whether it's virtual or if it's in person. As soon as you walk through the door, even if it's a virtual door on your computer, that's the first impression that you make on the prospective employer. So you really want to look sharp. You want to look clean. You want to look pressed. You don't want to wear a rumpled shirt, because that's what they're going to remember, is that you did or didn't take the time to prepare for the interview. Just like Hannah said, you need to prepare knowing who the company is. Well, put your best foot forward and look good for the interview. And at Council Resale, like you said, when I was on before, I showed you clothing. We have so much clothing that is perfect for an interview. And what we're offering for anybody who attends and registers for the webinar this evening, they get a $25 coupon towards their interview outfit. And as you know, our prices are so fabulous that they can really get a lot for that $25. So, and I'd also like to say, if your interview is virtual, don't dress from the waist up. Put on an entire outfit. Even if nobody can see you from the waist down, you will know that you are put together top to bottom. And accessorize also. I have a men's suit here, white shirt, a little bit of color in the tie. Doesn't matter what job you're applying for. Dress as if you want to show them that you can do any job that they have to offer. And for women, a little black dress, little black dress. You can throw a sweater over it. It's hard to really see on the camera. You can put a little sweater over it. You can add a blazer. I have a blazer here. Put a scarf on, accessorize with a scarf. I even have a beautiful necklace. And these prices are so wonderful that anybody could dress for their interview without having to spend a lot of money.
Yeah, because it can be very stressful for people attending an interview, especially if you are on a budget right now, or if you've been out of work, to try to come up with an outfit that makes you look presentable. So you don't want to lose the job before you even open your mouth, and your appearance does count. With that too, Sandi, are there certain colors that you recommend? Or I know sometimes people will wear a very busy print. Checks don't look good on a camera.
I agree. And whether you're on camera or in person, I say go simple. Like I showed you the plain black dress. If you want to jazz it up a little bit, add color at your neck, add color on a scarf. Keep it simple. Definitely keep it simple. And when you walk in the door at Council Resale, which by the way is on 12 Mile in Berkeley, our staff is wonderful and they will help you find an appropriate outfit. And the same thing with men. Wear the white shirt. It's very plain, but you can add a little color with the tie. Stay away from the busy prints. And even if you're applying for a job that is in PR or design, and you might think that the people like to dress a little funky, don't do it for the interview. Once you've got the job and you see what's acceptable, that's fine. But for the interview, play it straight.
So with that, Sandi, if someone is going to be doing a virtual interview, in some ways it's easier, but while they may be focused on their appearance, should they also be focused on what's in the background? And also, sometimes how you look in a mirror is not how you look on camera.
Well, that's very true, Ronnie. That was a good idea. You maybe should have a virtual background so it doesn't show clutter behind you. And it's, that's easy to do. And like what Hannah said is try and focus on the camera as opposed to looking at the person on the screen. I'm trying to do that now.
It's hard, especially when, like for me, I have a different camera than I use on my actual computer. So there are challenges there, and it comes with practice. And practice being, you should practice before the actual interview.
Absolutely.
So with that, Sandi Matz with us here right now. She's with the National Council of Jewish Women, a longtime volunteer for the council resale. And with that, if someone is going to come into the store, I know the last time you guys have been really taking a lot of precautions for people to feel comfortable, especially when they're buying items that are donated.
Correct. So everything that is, at first when we opened up after we were shut down because of the pandemic, we quarantined all our clothing and we put it in a pod for 72 hours. The CDC has come back and said it's not necessary, that the clothing, they're in garbage bags and we take them out, we hang them up. And the store itself is sanitized. We have sanitizing stations throughout the store. We only allow 15 people into the store at a time. We practice social distancing. Everyone must wear a mask when they're in the store. So it's very safe to come into our store and not worry about COVID.
So given the limited capacity numbers right now, should people make an appointment or is it okay to walk in?
It is okay to walk in. We are a small store, but typically 7 or 8 customers are in the store at a time, and there's enough room for everybody to be spaced out.
So Hannah, if I can throw it back over to you, Hannah Berger, she is with the JBS Human Services. With the webinar, is there a cost to attend the webinar?
No, it's completely free. And then you also get that benefit of the $25 off the next time you go to council resale. So in fact, in some ways, we're paying you.
It really is. I mean, how often do you get that offer, right? You're getting help and a coupon to be able to get free clothes.
And I think it really just speaks to how much JBS and Council Resale and NCJW want to help our community. It's a tough time for everyone. And we're just very committed to helping as many people as we can and giving them quality advice and quality clothes.
So
not giving, but you know.
But when we're talking about some of the people that you anticipate are going to be signing up for today, what types of careers do they typically seem to be looking for, or is it really all across the board?
It is so across the board. In the last 9 months that I've been working at JBS, I've had people looking for careers in PR and marketing to nonprofit professionals looking for new jobs. And I've also had someone looking to start a career in hydroponics and mushroom farming. So like I work with everyone. And I think what makes JBS special is that unique relationship that you form with the client. You really get to know what their goals are and what their hopes and dreams are for their career. And I get to help them find a fit for themselves. So it's pretty special.
So what is the latest that someone can sign up for the webinar? Do you have a cap on how many people?
Oh, no, we're encouraging everyone to come. The great thing is you can register for the webinar through a link, or you can also watch it on Facebook Live, and we'll get your contact information through that. And you can start as soon as 5:30 when we begin.
See, that is one of the positive sides of COVID, being able to do so many of these events online. You don't have to worry about capacity limits.
Yeah, not only capacity limits, but we also have been able to expand our reach. We help people in Southeast Michigan, and that used to mean Detroit and people who could come to the office, but now I have clients in Ann Arbor, one in Flint, one in Ypsilanti, so we're able to help more people in a geographical range as well because we are virtual.
That is great. Hannah Berger with us here on the MegaCast. She's with the JBS Human Services. They are offering a webinar tonight, Clothing Confidence, How to Prepare and Dress for an Interview. So really a lot of important tips on trying to get your foot in the door. And it starts with your appearance. Sandi, before we say goodbye, Sandi Matz is the a National Council of Jewish Women. She's a longtime volunteer with the council resale shop there in Berkeley. Sandi, any last minute advice that you want to give before we say goodbye for the day?
Just you always want to put your best foot forward, and that starts with The first impression that the future employer is going to see is you. And also, if you want to sign up for the webinar, JVS website or the NCJW website, which is ncjwmi.org. And we would love to see everybody come, even if you're not looking for a job right now, but you might want some advice for the future. It's a great webinar to attend.
As Sandy, I will say you're always so stylish. Accessories, they're the key.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It adds a little pop to whatever you're wearing.
Are you still taking donations from
Oh,
people
yes.
that may be cleaning out their closets?
You know, last time we talked about that, and people are still cleaning out their closets, and we're happy to take donations Monday through Saturday from 10 to 4.
That's great to know, because we do know so many people aren't going into the office as much. So they seem to be clearing out some of those dress clothes. Hannah and Sandy, we appreciate your time, and we wish you the best of luck tonight on your webinar.
Thank you.
so
Thanks
much.
for having us, Ronnie.